Hello and welcome to the Red Zone Tight End Analysis Podcast. I'm Big Italy 42 here with Jason Gilbo at JGilbo11. Obviously, your article here that you wrote up of all the top plays, and you'll be happy to know if you're sick of hearing the name Rob Gronkowski that I don't know that he's necessarily officially out, but he's not going to play. They have him as doubtful. He's not playing this week, which opens the door for, literally the perfect matchup for Greg Olsen. Saints, horrible against the pass, horrible against tight ends. Cam Newton, man on a mission this year. MVP caliber season, if you take out the turnovers, I guess. But having a great season, highest total of the week. Literally every single thing points to Greg Olsen being the top play, and nothing could possibly go wrong with that.
No, nothing. It's not like chalk has been failing the last few weeks at all. But Cam Newton going to be a popular cash game play and tournament play this week. So Olsen's going to be the guy you want to pair him up with. And like you said, Saints are just awful against the pass, especially tight ends. They're dead last per Football Outsiders there. And you look at the last matchup, 8 receptions, 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. Olsen's on par with Gronk as far as targets per game, so you just love his volume. And I think we do worry about the floor in the past, but I'm not going to this week against the Saints.
No, this is another one of those times where I don't mind eating some chalk, and going Olsen and Cam Newton in your cash games just makes a lot of sense. So if I die, I'll go down with 60% of the herd with that one. But it's just too good to pass up this week. Delanie Walker for the Tennessee Titans coming up next, and you mentioned he's even more enticing on DraftKings there, and he's a guy who's been consistent. When we're talking about targets on the season with Gronk and Greg Olsen, then Delanie Walker is up there as well. He's not too far behind. He's up there in catches as well. He gets red zone looks, so he's been the one guy who's been consistently really good this year that just continues to be overlooked.
Yeah, he's facing off against Jacksonville here. They rank 30th against tight ends per Football Outsiders. So just like last week where he faced Oakland, it's another juicy matchup. And, he leads the team with 20% of the targets in the red zone when they do get down there, which can be tough sometimes because it's Tennessee. But, I do like him on DK where he just catches a ton of balls. And, he has 6+ catches in all but 3 games this season. So he delivers a pretty solid floor for you.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that play. And then Gronk Jr., I guess you could call him. He's not much smaller, but the Gronk replacement, at least for this week, Scott Chandler, a guy who you mentioned here, 5 for 58 and a touchdown last week, most of which came after Gronk went out of the game. And you're running out of options here for the Patriots. Vegas still has them with a huge total. The Eagles, they give up 5 touchdowns to pretty much every quarterback each week now. It's absolutely embarrassing how bad this team is on defense, and you got to have someone to throw the ball to. Brady still projected to score a ton of points. The team is. So the ball needs to go somewhere. Amendola looks like he probably will be back, but that Tom Brady loves his tight ends.
Yeah, and just for 2,500 on DK, you can just load up everywhere else and punt. You feel good about this punt play with being Scott Chandler. Not the greatest matchup individually with Philly. They're decent against tight ends, but still they're terrible against the pass. They've been shredded the last few weeks, so I'm a little off of them, I guess, on FanDuel because there's still other options, just maybe $500 or $600 away. But on DraftKings, 2,500, he opens up tons of salary relief. So
yeah, I'm with you there. FanDuel, I'm going to pay the couple extra $100 more and go ahead and just get Greg Olsen. But DraftKings, we're talking about, 2,500 is like the actual minimum price for a tight end. It actually is. So it's just too easy to not play him in your cash game. You kind of just have to slot him in there, and I know I will. GBP plays Antonio Gates, who last week said he was not sure if he was 100%. Maybe I'll hurt the team, maybe I won't. He hurt me by me not rostering him after hearing that news. But 2 touchdowns, and that's just what this guy does. And amazingly, the fact that Keenan Allen's out and the Chargers' offensive line is in shambles, Gates just continues to produce. And, he's about 60 years old by now, but he just keeps getting it done. And Phillip Rivers obviously trusts him, and, Gates has great hands. When he gets the ball, he's going to make the catch.
Yeah. I do worry about that offensive line just because they've been so bad. They're completely injured, and you got to look at Gates. He looks like he can hardly move out there. So hopefully Rivers gets enough time, and if you're attacking anything in this passing game against Denver, it's going to be with the tight end.
Yeah, absolutely. This offense as a whole, like you said, not a target that I'm feeling good about. But I mean, Gates and in this matchup, their one weakness, I'll definitely take advantage there. Adrian Peterson's probably least favorite friend, Kyle Rudolph, the guy who has stolen quite a few of his touchdowns at times. But facing off against the Seattle team, another one that has had struggles against tight ends. And overall, I mean, this is a team that has good numbers on defense. But you look at what they've done every time they haven't faced the Niners and the Cowboys recently, and it's been giving up 27 or more points to just about every other team over the last 7 weeks. So this is a team that just is a good defense, but they're not a great defense anymore, if you ask me. So I'm a fan of Kyle Rudolph and, of course, Adrian Peterson, but that's for another day.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at Rudolph, 19 targets in the last 2 weeks there. I mean, those are solid numbers. I remember Teddy Bridgewater talking about Rudolph being a great red zone target, a great guy for him to develop and, during the offseason. And we haven't really seen it this season, but the last 2 weeks we've really seen it. And he has 13 receptions, 159 yards, and a score in the last 2 games. I mean, I'll take my chances. I think he's, a borderline value cash game play on DK there and a great value play on FanDuel. I mean, Seattle's just looked hopeless against tight ends this season.
Yeah, I'm a big fan there as well. Travis Kelce for the Chiefs. Next up, we've seen Alex Smith be efficient recently. All of a sudden, the defense playing well. This team suddenly looks like a potential playoff team. And we know the drill with Oakland. Slot receivers, tight ends, really anyone is catching a football, but especially those two. So Kelce right here in play once again. And we've seen the fact that he still gets plenty of looks. He gets looks in the red zone as well. And, I mean, he's still, if we're talking pure size and athleticism, one of the better tight ends in the game. And this is about as good a spot as any as he's going to see this year. Yeah,
I mean, Oakland's allowed the most touchdowns to tight ends this season with being 11. Kelce gets 7 targets per game. I think we kind of want that up a little bit more. Hopefully double digits this game against Oakland, which should be the case if Andy Reid and Alex Smith know what's good for him, but that's not always the case. So I think he's he's a pretty safe cash game option too, but I do like him more in tournaments just because I can't really rely on Alex Smith and always delivering him the ball, which really should be the case in that offense.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a Greg Olsen or on DraftKings, you go ahead and slot in Scott Chandler in cash games, but lots of other ways you can swerve off of those guys who are going to be really, really popular this week in tournaments.
Yeah, just a ton of options.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun week for the tight end here. So that'll wrap things up for us. Find us on Twitter at DF Cafe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got lots of other great content at dailyfantasycafe.com.